What's up, guys? It's Rainad back with another update video for the Bazaar. So today we're going to be showing you a new version of the game. Figured it's been a while since you've seen it and wanted to catch you up now that we got a new demo today. First of all, you can tell, homepage is a little bit more animated than before. I definitely think there's a lot of polish. I absolutely love this home screen. I think it's gorgeous, and I hope the recording does it justice. It fits wide screens, and that's really where I think it stands out. It's just this beautiful sprawling view of the Bazaar, and it's all animated, and hopefully if we have time before we ship, we can do different lighting conditions depending on the time of day that you're logged in. So, if it's like nighttime when you open up the Bazaar, maybe the homepage is like nighttime Bazaar. No promises on that being in by launch, but definitely a feature we're excited about. But you can see the side tabs, we have opened those up. So we have some, we're just starting to build out menus and getting a feel for what we want this to look like. But the design's mostly there. I'll be able to switch between classes here, equip different skins. All of this is subject to change, keep in mind. I think this equip button we might just get rid of. I think you're supposed to select a board and then equip it, but maybe just clicking on it will auto equip. I might just save an input. We got a few different toys you can choose between. Those are equipable. We let people do it right now in this profile menu, but also once you start playing, you can do it up here in these side tabs. I could change my left toy to being this target dummy. I could change my right toy to being a drum. Let's be honest, bubble cannon's the best though. And our eyeball thing doesn't work yet. But yeah, I'll be able to switch between skins here too. So it's starting to come together. We feel good about getting those tabs opened up. Let me show you just kind of the first iteration of the market, but just starting to put up different categories of cosmetics we'll be selling. New skins for heroes, and this design that's not final. That's we completely have reworked that skin, so that'll be very different by launch. We have sorry, I'm swiping on my touchpad to the right. That's what the jerking's about. But yeah, so some placeholder menus there. We're excited to start populating this stuff. A lot of these features are very far along already. We just only wanted to put the stuff into this build that looked more finalized, and it is functional. You can buy those skins, then they get added to your account, and you can start equipping them. But yeah, let me just jump into a game and show you guys what that looks like now. I'll play Vanessa, why not? So yeah, you guys can see our board rework here. We still got our toys here, fully functional. The bubbles are better at popping now, which I'm happy about. We have these tents up here, which will kind of surround every merchant. We'll have a couple variants of those, and we've changed quite a bit at face value, so I kind of want to go over things one by one. So first of all, this it's not massive changes, but it's all small polish iterative changes and new systems that have gone in that we think drastically improve gameplay. So first of all, the encounter bar that you guys are used to on the left, we used to have all those little circles in a vertical line, and now we have this clock. And what this basically does is it counts down the number of encounters you have before the fight at the end of the day. Basically, every day you fight a player at the end of the day. So you're going to have 8 encounters where you draft and make your build stronger, and then you're going to see whose build was better against another player every single day. So the 2 hearts here represent the 3 lives. In the rules of this game, you basically try to win as many player fights as you can before you lose 3 lives. So the hearts represent the extra lives. After you die, those are going to heal you back up to 100. And this treasure chest here represents how many wins you have. So every time you beat a player, you're going to get a treasure chest from them. And then at the end of the run, you're going to open up all your treasure chests and collect your loot. So right off the bat, you can tell we've changed kind of the first encounter. Every time you guys have seen the game before, we've kind of shown 3 choices of merchants over and over and over again. And now we're using our admin tool system to experiment with different encounter organization structures. So what we have here is a bit of focus on the first-time user experience. We will have a tutorial in the game when it's launched, but until then, for these early builds that we're sending to people, we wanted them to onboard the players a little bit better. So what we did is we wanted to show the core game loop in just the first 3 clicks of the game. So here is Vanessa's house. You guys are going to see a lot of placeholder art around here on these encounters. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go to Vanessa's house. You can tell it's not like I'm choosing between 3 things. It's not overwhelming you with options right off the bat. It's just kind of getting you accustomed. Go to a place, buy an item, use the item to fight something. In this case, this poor defenseless kitty, which is very placeholder art. Most of the monsters, I think, are placeholder art. But yeah, so Harpoon's gonna take this down. We beat the monster. That means that we're gonna get a bit of gold, and we're gonna get to pick that up and use it to buy stuff. So really just kind of showing the player the core loop in the first few clicks of the game. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another item. Let's just go ahead and get a honing steel. And I kind of want to show you guys how these encounters are different from before. Right off the bat, you can tell it's not always 3 options over and over and over again. We're experimenting with different numbers of encounters. Sometimes it's just a choose one event where it's not really a choice. It's just something happens to you, like a mugger. Like, oh, surprise, you're getting mugged. In this case, I have 2 options, 2 merchants I can go to. Let's go to Ayla, see what she has. She's got some stuff. I'll get a grenade, sure. So now, okay, I ran into a Viper. You can see that monster fights can now happen just mid-exploration phase. It's not something that we had the option to do before. So you're not just getting feedback on your build in the middle or at the end of the day, but you're regularly getting feedback on how good you're drafting, because you're gonna regularly run into monsters as part of the core gameplay loop in order to get income. We have a couple more merchants here, and it's essentially like this evolving drafting experience where I'm constantly being presented with a wide variety of new options. We don't have that many encounters in the game yet. It's still a pretty small pool, but it will be a much wider variety later on. Also, the types of encounters that I run into change over the course of a run. So as you get into late game, you start seeing a wider range of stuff. Here I'm at Kina, right? You can see right now, sorry, these objects look like cards. They're not actually cards, these squares. These are spells. So they're not gonna get added to my row. These are just one-time effects. We have a lot of like placeholder. You're gonna have to use your imagination on a few things right now. This is placeholder art. So these are spells, which basically means I get a one-time output when I pick them. So when I pick Salad, I'm gonna gain 2 regeneration for the next fight. And that's just gonna be like a status effect that I gain. You guys, by the way, can tell that the status effects are gonna play a bigger role than before. Down here, I have this armor stat, for example, which is what my swashbuckle gave me, right? When you buy this, gain 20 armor permanently. So here I have 20 armor. Armor means at the start of each fight, you gain 20 shield. We've built in some core stats, permanent stats that you can build onto your character to get stronger throughout a run. So it's not just about what items you get, it's about how you're building your character as well. We have speed stats, we have strength stats, we have armor stats, regeneration, all sorts of beneficial stats to make every build feel different, give different characters different strengths. So I'm gonna take the Salad, get some regeneration, jump into the fight, and the game is gonna find an opponent that is also wrapping up day 1 for me. And yeah, we're gonna fight them. Looks like they have some small items, caltrops, some strength, so his weapons hit pretty hard. I think his build is stronger than mine, so I'm probably gonna lose, but he doesn't have much health, I guess. I don't know, we might do it. There we go. I guess Harpoon's just gonna get him. We take those. Oh, not quite yet. You guys can see the blue lines approaching each other here in the middle of the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and show you in a later fight what that looks like. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I can't show you at the Goblin. I have to go over here and do it here. But yeah, let me just reposition some stuff, fight this snake. I want to show you guys what happens when we get to fatigue, and well, it's very much a placeholder. We call it the sandstorm. I want to show you guys what happens when the fight goes on too long. It's very easy when 2 builds go head to head that neither of them is capable of killing the other. So I kind of want to show what those scenarios look like. Man, how are we gonna do this? All right, let's go to Andy. I guess I could throw in order to show you guys. Maybe that's the way to do this. Let's see, we're gonna put this citrus over here. We're gonna go to Nufu. You guys can tell it's just a wider range of stuff. It's not just 3 merchants over and over again. Here I'm getting a new hero power. Sure, let's go ahead and pick that one up. Going to Andy again. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up a few more items. So every merchant, I kind of want to give you guys an update on the skip button. You can tell in the older builds, and I mean it's still here in certain phases, but this silver button, this is not going to be there in the final version of the game. It's still a bit of a temporary placeholder, helps us run our events the right way when we need to. We found that the option to skip an encounter wasn't that fun. If players constantly wanted to skip our encounter, that means that there's something about our encounter that we should have designed better. So really our philosophy was, skip button kind of sucks, how can we get rid of it? It's a gameplay pattern that we don't really want to encourage. So we have decided to offer a free option at every merchant that's basically a strictly better skip button. So you can look at these price tags in the bottom right of a card. All the items here cost 1. And here, this is not an item. This is health potion, gain 10 max health. So as placeholder art, this is just a spell, right? So when I click this, it's not gonna give me an item. It's just gonna permanently buff my max health by 10. So it's another way to scale your build and get stronger throughout a run, other than just getting more powerful items. I'm gonna go ahead and fight another placeholder monster. We've given the monsters skills, so that's gonna give them a lot more character and different effects, and we're still trying to get a feel for how exactly we want to use monsters. Like, do we make them a means to grow your economy and get money, and maybe the cost of that is how much damage they do to you, since damage is permanent? Or do we want them to be really hard, like end bosses that are maybe almost as hard as a player? Or maybe you want a mix, maybe you want boss monsters, regular monsters. These are all questions we're asking ourselves right now, but great thing is testing the game has never been easier, because it's never been more fun to play. It's very easy for us to continually, sorry, I'm bad at multitasking. It's very easy for us to continually improve the game with these new systems we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another regeneration. I'm just kind of breezing through it because I want to give you guys a general idea of the flow. But I'm here now at the end of day 2. You can see on the clock here on the left, it was kind of going around as I was going through encounters, and then it ends up on top where we fight another player. And I know that these fights are a little bit tough to follow because, you know, these are items with very different effects. You guys haven't seen these items before, or if you have, I'm sure the effect has changed at least slightly. But we do have a replay button here at the end, which is gonna let you rewatch and see, well, just exactly how you got fucked in this case. This was brutal, so much fire. I can't beat that. All right, so after you lose a fight, you can see one of your hearts over here is gonna break, you're gonna refill, and if I lose 2 more fights, my run is done. But for the fight that I won, I gained this treasure chest. So I'm gonna open that up at the end of the run. You can see our toys are starting to be functional. We can swap out different weapons for target dummy. It's a slingshot, laser pistol. But yeah, it's starting to come together. You know, we feel really good about it, and I just can't wait for the game to be done. Can't wait to have you guys play it and get you in and start iterating with live players as soon as we can. Go ahead and fight lepers, one of the more toxic monsters in the game. Every time it uses an item, I lose one of my max health, which is pretty brutal. I don't know that this is the most fun design, but wanted to show you guys some of the different types of effects we're experimenting with. You can tell a lot of the visual effects that have come in are ones we haven't had before, right? The burning, we have new freeze effects, we have this new slash effect on some items. And now, when the fight goes on too long, the sandstorm comes in and then starts damaging both players for more and more damage until somebody dies. So Leper goes down, we get a little bit of money. We're gonna rename all of these. Just don't worry about what those things are themed as right now. We're testing new effects, new outputs. This game has a very, very broad range of design space. It's the kind of game that's designed to be built on with larger and larger teams over time. And not even larger teams, but just like we can continually build on every system in the game, the encounters, the items themselves. And right now it's a lot like I imagine the challenges running into are a lot of what the original team that made Magic, for example, ran into. You know, when you make a new strategy game with a new rule set, if the game is 10 years old and there's a bunch of competitive history, it's easy to know like what is fair, what isn't. But if it's a brand new system that hasn't existed before, there's a bunch of design mistakes that we need to make and learn from, and then change that card. You know, there's never been a game with this kind of combat engine, so it's been pretty fun to figure out what's fundamentally broken and what is completely unacceptable to create in a game like this. But yeah, I'm pretty squishy right now, down to 70 health. I'm gonna go to this cake event. And yeah, these are all just different spells. So you can see this is kind of an atypical event, right? It's not a traditional merchant where I'm buying items. In this case, these are spells. And I apologize that the spells look identical to items right now. That's gonna change in the very near future. Again, just placeholder, but you know, here I'll buy a slice of pie. I spend 3 gold, my max health goes up. I'm a little more tanky, and you know, now let's say I'm running low on money. Instead of going to a merchant, I'm gonna go fight Medusa. And that's just gonna instantly start a fight mid-exploration phase. You guys can kind of see the flexibility of kind of the game engine here. Like we can introduce all sorts of encounters and events that force you to change up your build or encourage you to change up your build in different ways to get stronger. This is really gonna be a game that maximizes diversity, replayability, and you know, I can honestly say it's never been more fun to test. So for the first time ever, for funsies in like when I have free time, I've been choosing to play the Bazaar quite a bit over other card games that I used to kill time with. So there's still a lot of polish to do, and a lot of these fades to black. We're gonna have much better transitions, and everything will be much more smooth. And you know, most importantly, the assets will be finished as well. Like this game will be gorgeous when it's done. I want you guys to really believe me when I say what we have in the works for this as a final product visually is gonna be incredible. I'm really proud of how the game looks, not just now, but what it's going to look like when it's done, when we finally have all of our finished assets in there, all of our visual effects. But yeah, so you can see on this clock here, I'm on the 3rd day. I'm on my 5th event, and after I go somewhere, Lux, right, he sells rare items. I don't think you guys have seen this merchant before. After I go somewhere, I can then buy an item from this character, and the clock moves forward 1 step. So I'm getting mugged, unlucky. Every time he hits me, he's gonna steal money. We're actually considering even putting skills on merchants as well, because essentially everything else in the game with a portrait has one. We do think that it opens up a lot of design space for how to do those encounters. So I think you guys can expect more of that in the future. A little bit of when a monster dies, it does take a minute for it to go away. That's something we got to address too. But yeah, we're just trying new card effects, new timings. It's been a lot of progress. It's the flexibility of the system is wonderful, and it's exactly what we were going for. I really appreciate this for what it is, because of the doors that it opens up for what the final product is going to be. Like this lets us have the most unique drafting phase of any auto battler or like deck building roguelike game, because everything is very simple, but we can have a massive variety of events that all feel very different. The skills on all of these monsters and merchants and players are going to make the fights feel different. They're going to make the shopping phase feel different. You can imagine a merchant that just buys things for double, so you're like more incentivized to sell at that one. Lux, which sells rare items. Merchants that sell big items, small items. Kina sells potions, which give temporary buffs right now. So I'll get 32 shield for this fight. It's just a broad range of design space. We're just excited to use it all to make a great game for you guys. So all I'll play this fight out, watch myself get wrecked. I don't know how confident I feel in this build. We'll see. This octopus hits like a truck. He has Octocast, so he strikes 8 times. Every time he attacks, I burn for 3. So I'm kind of all in on octopus damage. That's a good thing to be all in on. Alright, easy. Yeah, we have a, shoe store. You can run fast if you feel so inclined. Let me go ahead and sell this swashbuckle, get rocket boots, I can get some Nikes. Here's another crazy event. I don't know. We have a eating contest. Fill your board with chocolate bars. We're just experimenting with events we haven't had before. When I sell chocolate bar, I gain 10 health. But this is also a lot of money. Could sell 3 of these, get Tropical Island. This is a rare item. You can tell by the price tag the rarity of the items. So the commons cost 1, the uncommons cost 2, and the rares cost 3. And right now, those are the only 3 rarities of cards in the game. Go to Nufu. I don't know. Get one of these skills. Go to Lux. But yeah, you guys are getting a feel for it. Street Festival, like the variety of encounters is something really proud of, and I think it's a good direction for the game. I think this is definitely the right way for us to go. I want to keep this Tropical Island because it's gonna give me a lot of max health, but I also really want to double my speed because Go-Kart Race is broken right now. Alright, we're just gonna get max health. Get funnel cake. Can't ever go wrong with cake. This is just we're trying all sorts of different events. It's one of the interesting things in doing the design on this is trying to figure out how do we tell a story. You know, how much complexity can we have behind an encounter? The idea behind this one, conceptually, I think this was Ben's event. I think the idea behind this one was, you're a bodyguard for some guy, and do you retrieve his wallet or fight a thief or do you defend him from the assassin? So it's, 2 tiers of fights, an easy guy, a hard guy, or you could just get money. Let's fight the hard guy, sure. Let Tropical Island trigger. Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit of a better flavor in here, assassin has a sniper rifle. You guys will see just like, as we work on this and iterate on these, they're just going to continually get more fun. We think it's a lot more fun now. Just having this variety has already made this a much better game than what we had before, and we're really proud of the flexibility here. So now the question is, what kind of events are fun? What kind of things would happen in the Bazaar that you would run into that makes sense thematically? So if you guys have any ideas for just cool stuff that could happen in the Bazaar, make sure to leave those ideas in the comments, because yeah, if it just sounds like a cool event, we'd love to find some game mechanic for it and get it in there. So, the way this is designed is to scale, so we want wide variety of crazy events where anything can happen. We really want to make every game feel endlessly different. We do not want the Bazaar to be dictated by some external metagame that you have to memorize, and it should be a lot more about just discovering cool stuff every game and being rewarded for good decisions. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into another player fight. This is like some sort of build that's gonna set me on fire. It is gonna be brutal. I don't know that I can beat this. Oh, I'm super dead. Well, turns out I was flammable. My only weakness. The Safari Hunt event we're trying. Basically, some monsters show up. You can pick one to fight. I'll fight Snowman, sure. Yeah, but yeah, I'd love to just hear what you guys think of the combat system. How you feel about the direction things are going. I know that this is going to be a little bit hard to follow until you guys put a lot of time playing the game yourself. Not a lot of time, a little bit of time. We think it's pretty self-explanatory, but once you jump in for a bit, but I think it's kind of a byproduct of any card game, because the cards all do stuff. In order to like follow easily, you need to know what the cards do. You just kind of have to like mouse over stuff and get familiar with what effects are. But we feel pretty confident that, you know, nothing's too complex. You can always zoom in on any one element of the game and wrap your head around it. And I think we have a good balance of complexity and depth. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep slowly octopusing people with my island build, because why not? I can. Poisoning him to death because I have this assassin hero power, so my octopus poisons them 8 times. It's a very toxic octopus. And yeah, go to the cake shop, sell my candy bar so I have 10 money, buy a big cake. Now I just have crazy max health. This run's going pretty well. I think we're gonna farm some nerds. It's gonna be good. No. Eating contest is neat. I do like eating contest. And I'd have to... Even if I sell my 4 candy bars, I can't afford this. That is a challenge. Maybe it's time to just get rid of Tropical Island, huh? Let's do it. Clockmaker. I don't think I've shown you guys this event either. So I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what the various encounters could look like, right? We have these, you know, speed is another permanent stat. I don't think I've shown you guys yet. Your cooldowns charge 50% faster. It's another way to make your build feel rather different from like a strength build, an armor build, a build that's based around a certain item or subset of items. But just the end variety and number of builds you can have is something we're really proud of. We really think every game should feel like very different in the Bazaar. You're not just gonna end up with the same 5 cards at the end of every run. Like it's a trap that a lot of auto battlers fall into. We can still upgrade individual cards within the system too. So like here, tune up, a random item charges 50% faster. I can go ahead and pick this up. And sorry, I have this other hero power that gives me random items, and it's treating spells like items now. This might actually get really awkward if this gives me a, please don't give me a weapon. Not like this. No. No. All right, the bug. We're supposed to be able to sell on every screen, but right now you can only sell inside of merchants. So I'm basically stuck with this powder keg, which is a weapon. Now I have 2 weapons, which means assassin won't trigger, which means I'm dead. All right, I'll show you guys how a run ends. Why not? Make it a complete arc. Lose to a bug as usual. Oh wow, fighting against some crazy aquatic build. We're using subtypes for the first time here. You can see under the name, it says weapon, aquatic. This is aquatic, this is aquatic. So it's like just trying one subtype in Vanessa just to see how that feels and how that design space acts within our drafting system. But it's felt pretty good so far. You know, we feel good about it. Definitely just gonna get poisoned to death here. I'm getting jellyfish stung to death. His sea creatures were better than mine. Candy got revenge from earlier. And yeah, so that's a pretty simple run. We won't label that as a defeat in the final game. It's definitely not a defeat. It's very, very hard to get the maximum number of wins, which in this build is 8. It's very hard to get 8 wins, right? If you have 3 lives, the average player should go 3 and 3. So 3 wins is the average. These are the ways I rationalize losing to myself. Anyway, yeah. So I gave you guys a quick run through. It's a little all over the place. There's just a bunch of small design notes, and we can endlessly dig into every small decision there. I mean, in earlier builds, I think you guys saw a lot of cooldown reduction, where we would lower the cooldown of other items and they would start charging faster. Well, the speed system that we have is actually a very different way of working, because the cooldown reduction like got exponentially stronger, like the more of it that you got. Whereas now we're affecting charge speed. So rather than lowering the cooldown, we're increasing the charge speed of items. So it lets us continually stack a bunch of charge speed without negatively impacting the well, without being this like parasitic synergy where like you just endlessly want more and more and more speed. I mean, you do want more speed, it just makes you faster and stronger, but we just think it's a better way of scaling cooldown reduction, is to do charge speed rather than CDR. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this build. I think there's a good chance I'll start streaming for you guys on occasion and give you some games where I run through it, give you a feel for it. But yeah, I'd just love to see what you guys think of where we're at now, and I'd love to do further videos on this build and break down the individual systems that have changed really in more detail for you guys. But yeah, for now, wanted to give you a quick look into where the Bazaar is at today. We're really excited to get this into your hands as soon as we can, and the way the game is set up, you know, it's really going to get a lot better once we get your feedback and, you know, at scale and start really iterating with a lot more players on the server. It's just the rate at which the game is getting better is really exciting to us. The systems are working the way that we hoped, and it does take a bit of imagination in certain areas with certain assets and visual effects missing, but yeah, I mean, I hope you guys like what you see. I hope you see where we're going with this. We really think this could be a new type of drafting experience, and something that no other card game can really offer. You know, we have all of that depth of card effect synergy that a game like Slay the Spire has, with the simplicity and convenience of UX that auto battlers have. But it's much better than with auto battlers because there's no time constraints. You're not racing against the clock to click 1,000 times. It's just very chill to play. You know, you have a few options, click on stuff, move forward. It's a cool kind of experience. It's a game we feel really good about. I'm very optimistic about it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for following. Thank you for being interested in the Bazaar as always. And we will see you here back next Friday for another update video of the Bazaar.